What is up, Pyromaniacs? Parastasis here. Good God, that light's fucking bright as shit. Damn. I'm talking about whiteout. Holy shit. I'm going to crank the Christmas tree up to kind of offset the fucking glaring eye of Sauron over here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Jesus. What is up, guys? So this is the first vlog post we've done since I've moved the weight loss channel over to TDK Minecraft / TDKIT. If you haven't checked that out yet, we're still doing that series. We're fixing to start bike vlogs. We'll be covering the weightlifting, probably do eventually that'll become two separate series. We'll have the bike vlogs and then we'll have like the weightlifting progress, especially once I start getting into like deadlifts and squats and things like that. Once probably I drop another 50 to 100 pounds. But for now, it's just going to be probably one thing twice a week, you know, both just kind of like a weekly update plus other stuff. So if that's what you want to see, head on over to youtube.com/TDKIT or TDK Minecraft, whichever is easier for you to type. And I'll throw the link in the description so you can see that latest video update. I think we've had 2 this week, so we'll have one more once we get the bikes. So if you want to see all that, head over there. So what is this video about? Well, my last video here was about a new world, or new world. I call it a new world, but it's new world. That's the actual title. So it just new world seems weird to me, but a new world seems more right, but is not its actual name. Go figure. Anyways, it's the MMO by Amazon, which coincidentally is not the only MMO coming out by Amazon, which I thought was kind of, I had no idea. I mean, I haven't really been following MMOs recently, but let's see, here we go. Lost Ark is another MMO coming out, I guess by Amazon. Yeah, it's by Amazon Games. So, I mean, this thing looks pretty cool, but unfortunately it's not out until later in the fall. The trailer for it I can throw up here. We'll go ahead and mute it so I don't get copyrighted. I wanted to see if I could show you the combat, or is it all, I guess this will work. But yeah, it's a top-down, almost like Diablo-like setup, which to me is really cool, but unfortunately, it's not out yet, and I don't know if they've even got a release date yet. So it's fall of 2021. So, but anyways, A New World was supposed to be out August 28th, and so that was kind of when we were going to reboot the channel here. I was going to dive into that very, very hardcore, and you know, planning to at least cover it for 2 months, maybe more, if we get sucked into it. The problem with MMOs is they kind of have a tendency to pull you in for a little while until you exhaust the content, and then you kind of got to wait till the next content drop comes. And sorry, my lip just peeled on me. Wow. Some MMOs, you know, you can kind of play for a longer time because they have enough content. Some of them, especially newer MMOs, you know, 30 to 90 days, you've pretty much played everything and you got to wait till the next patch. So, and then again, there's going to be people that are going to differ from that. But in my experience growing up as being a hardcore MMO player, we usually played for 30 to 90 days, and then 50 to 70% of the population would usually drop off. Then you'd either play the next new MMO that comes out or something else. The problem with nowadays is MMOs are kind of dying off almost. We haven't really had another good one since I'd honestly say probably WoW was the last, and I mean, it's debatable whether you like WoW. I don't personally like WoW, but you know, you can't really argue that it's not a good MMO. So with A New World being pushed back to September 28th, which it was today, announced, we now have 2 months. And whereas, you know, 28 days is not a big deal. I mean, I remember when I was younger, 28 days felt like forever, but as a working professional, 28 days is, oh wow, we're done. It's already happened in the middle of this video. Time just flies. I mean, literally, it's the scariest thing about getting older. And a lot of you are probably not old enough to get this, but as you get older, time speeds up, and it has to do with, they've done studies on it, and I'm getting off on a segue here, but bear with me. Time is based on your perception of it and how much time you've experienced. And so a lot of people mention it. It's kind of like a roll of toilet paper. When you first start pulling it, you know, those rotations take a long time, and then they get faster and faster and faster. That doesn't actually change with time, but your perception of time does change as you experience more of it. So for instance, couple examples: summer vacation when you were young, 3 months, felt like forever. You'd go on summer vacation and, you know, it was years, you know, of your life. And then you'd go back to school. And then as you got older and older, that got quicker and quicker and quicker until like maybe your junior or senior year in high school. It's like, Jesus Christ, that was fast. It's kind of like that. Or, you know, remember when you used to go to grandma's house if your grandparents live far away? If they don't, maybe another road trip of some kind. That hour or 2 hours or 6 hours or whatever it was felt like forever. And then as you got older, once you'd taken that trip multiple times, once you know, experienced more in life, trip wasn't so bad. And that's basically the way it is with life, is the more you experience of it, the more you realize that, you know, that time passing isn't so bad and things speed up. You also get busier to an extent. I mean, you could argue as a kid, our lives are very busy with school and extracurricular activities and all that stuff, whereas with you know, as an adult, it's mainly just 8 hours of work and then trying to cram all the shit you couldn't do while at work into, you know, your free hours and then going back to work. But I digress. So anyways, now that we have 2 months, that kind of changes things up a little bit, because now it's like, okay, that's a little too long to just wait and not do anything. And by doing anything, I mean cover anything or make some progress. So we got a couple options here. So unfortunately, Lost Ark is not one of them. I would love that if it was, but it's not. When is Diablo 2 release date? The remaster. Sorry, Diablo 2 remaster release date. A week before that. Yeah, dude, September is going to be a slamming month. The amount of shit that is releasing in September is, of course, that's the way it is every holiday season. But yeah, so some of the options we have, the guys are playing Destiny 2 right now, and I enjoy Destiny 2, but Destiny 2, to me, especially since my guys aren't really that into the PvP side of things. My brother's okay with it, and a couple of the other guys are okay with it, but the whole team's not. It kind of cramps our style. Plus, we have 5 people, so we constantly don't have enough for the raids. And so it makes it kind of challenging to get into the raid side of things. So, that, and my brother's not really terribly into it, and if I'm honest, I enjoy aspects of it. I enjoy the PvP more than anything. The PvE side of things is okay, but it hasn't hooked me, and it hasn't pulled me in, you know. So Final Fantasy XIV is an option that's really popular right now. It's actually kind of booming, and this was something we had planned on playing after A New World. So the way this would basically work is we would play it for the next 2 months, kind of gear up for the expansion, which is launching in November. And then when A New World comes out, we would move from Final Fantasy to New World. I mean, we'd probably still play Final Fantasy casually, but New World would be the game. We'd play New World hardcore from September 28th, October 28th, November 28th, well, 23rd is when Endwalker launches. And then we'd move back to Final Fantasy, do Final Fantasy from November 23rd to December 23rd. And then Guild Wars 2 expansion release date. I think it's the 3rd one. February 22nd. So yeah. So that would give us like 4 months with Final Fantasy. And now, of course, that's assuming that New World burns out and that we don't enjoy New World. You know, I'm kind of putting pieces in the way so we have something to go for. So, and my nose is running. 1 second. Let me mute the mic so you guys don't have to hear my my goose noise. There we go. All right, I'm back. Sorry. So anyways, God, I hope I don't have like yo-yo boogers hanging out of my nose. So it'd be Final Fantasy for the next 2 months, New World for 2 to 3 months, Final Fantasy again with the expansion, Guild Wars with its expansion, and that would put us at roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of March to April of next year. And then at that point in time, we can kind of reevaluate. We can be like, okay, are we, what are we looking at then? So we kind of, and that's of course assuming we don't get sucked into any of those long term. Obviously, that would be flexible. So the question is, in the meantime, do we mess with Final Fantasy? Do we play something else, or do we wait? Now, the problem, one thing about Final Fantasy, it's a good game. So it's got a lot of promise to it. There's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of guides I could do on it. The problem with Final Fantasy is you have like 300 hours of story, and I'm not really exaggerating there. The way the game works is when you make your character, you get like a new character bonus. If you start on one of the recommended servers, you get an additional bonus. And then if you are under your max level character, because each character has different jobs, if you're on one of your under leveled jobs, like let's say your main's 50 and you're working on your level 20 side job, whatever, you end up with like 300%, 400% EXP. It's ridiculous. So you're leveling fast as hell. The problem is you're penned in by your main story quest, and the main story quest is epic. And I mean epic beyond, let me see. Final Fantasy 14 main story quest. I'm hoping I can break this down. I just want to show you if it will let me. Yeah, so the 150, here you go. That's 1 to 50. Okay, there you go. Limit quest chain. These are all the starter quest chains, right? So you can see there's about 24 quests in each of those, right? And then you get to the 15 to 20. There are 26 quests in the 15 to 20 zone, right? 26 quests for 5 levels. Then the 21 through 30, that's 9 levels. There's 45 quests. Starting to see the issue? 31, next time, there's 37 quests. Then 41 to 50, 33 quests. And then after that, you have the 50 to 60. And then once you get to that point, you have like the level 60 stuff. You have the 60 to 70, 70 stuff, 70 to 80. And then finally you're caught up, right? So the amount, just the sheer, and you have to do this stuff. Like, it doesn't matter if you hit 60. If you hit 60 and you don't do these things, you're locked out of dungeons, you're locked out of like the content of the game you can't do. So even if you race to the end, you're pinned in by this. And it took my brother, I want to say 80 hours roughly of power grinding. And what I mean by that is skipping all all dialogues, all cutscenes, everything, and just grinding it. And it's not hard; it's just time consuming. So the thought process here would be, is if we decided to do this, we would burn through the main story quest, MSQ, the main story quest in this first 60 days. That's all our goal would be. Just get our characters to 80. Burn through the story, and then once we get there, build a guild, play around with each other, enjoy the game. And there's still a lot of stuff to do together. I mean, there's a lot of quests or dungeons you can do together. You can group up to do some of the story quests, etc., etc. And this doesn't even include your class quests, because on top of that, you have your job quests. So whatever you are, whether you're a thaumaturge, a pugilist, a paladin, whatever, you have your base job that you'll have to level to a certain point, and then you have your advanced job. So for instance, if you start as a thaumaturge, you hit 30, at that point you can then become a white mage, which is the upgrade thaumaturge, and that's the baseline healer class. There is, I'm trying to think of the other one. There's a lot of quests that work that way, or classes that work that way. So back in the day, you used to have to level thaumaturgy up to like 30, and then another class up to 12, and then another class up to 6, and then you'd qualify for the special quest, and then you'd do that quest, and then you would unlock that class. They got rid of that now. It's just, one class. So that's definitely a good change. And again, I'm not hating on the story. a lot of people are like, well, that's the whole point of the game, is just to experience. No, it's not. And there's a difference, and allow me to explain. So in World of Warcraft, and I hate using that as an example, but in most traditional MMOs, you're playing the game as a group from level 1. Well, maybe level 12. You've got dungeons, you've got group quests, you've got elite mobs, you've got harder quests to do, all sorts of things that you can do as a group, right? And that incentivizes you to play together. So at an early age, or early level, at 12, 15, whatever it is, you're playing as a group. Final Fantasy is the exact opposite. It is not an MMO. It is a story-driven MMO to an extent. So you have to go through 300 hours of story before that gameplay opens up. Now, that's not to say that the game isn't enjoyable. The story is very good if that is your thing. If you enjoy JRPGs, if you enjoy a very cinematic experience, it's good. Although a lot of people do say a Realm Awoken, or whatever it is, which is, I think, the base, or a Realm Reborn, sorry, is the base story is not that good. That Haven Sword is where it kind of picks up. You just can't get around it. So the frustrating part there is the majority of the game for the first 300 hours is solo. So if you're playing, you're wanting to play an MMO together, you're wanting to play it with a group, and now you're playing something that basically disincentivizes that. So to me, that's the main frustrating thing about Final Fantasy, and there's no way around it. I've heard that there's ways to pay to skip, like you can buy a character or something, through the MOG station maybe, but I never looked into it. I'm not made of money, so that's just not an option for me. So this would be the key thing here, is to just burn through that. So now that's going to be a turnoff for a lot of people. At the same time, Final Fantasy right now it's number one. With all the trouble Blizzard's having with, all the shit they've gone through and they've done, plus the fact that, WoW's just kind of been stagnant for the last couple of years. Even if you love the game, you're probably getting tired of it at this point. Me personally, I've never been that big a fan of the game. There are certain aspects of it I like, certain aspects of it I enjoy, and in a group experience, which is what MMOs to me are about, I do enjoy playing with my friends, and if my friends want to play WoW, okay, I'll do it. But at a certain point in time, you get to a point where it's like playing with your friends. If your friends like eating kale for dinner, you will probably go have dinner with your friends. But if your friends want to have kale for dinner every single night, you're probably not going to be stopping by very frequently, if you get my point. So the goal is to find something that everybody likes and is palatable for everybody. And for me, WoW's not very palatable, just like EVE Online is not very palatable to my brother. I love that game, would love to play it with a big group of people, but it is that game's like a second job, and requires a lot of time investment. And I could do it if we made that our number one thing, but I don't think we've got enough people that are wanting to do that. And I really want something that me and my brother can do together, because that relationship's important to me. And so I can't really pick EVE Online as much as I might enjoy it, and as much as it might be good for my YouTube channel. If my brother doesn't want to play it, it's, I already work all the time. Plus, playing that game, which is a very big time commitment, I just wouldn't have much time for him, and I don't want to do that. That's not worth it to me. So I'd rather look at other things. So again, option one, we pick up Final Fantasy, we burn through that, we cover all that stuff. You get guides, tips, and tricks for that until New World comes out. We transition to that, and then we transition back with the expansion. So if Final Fantasy's off the table, a couple options open up. Really wish Diablo 2 Remaster was coming out, because that would be fan-freaking-tastic, but it's not. So then we have Guild Wars. Now, Guild Wars is a game it's kind of showing its age. It's a little different than a lot of traditional games in the aspect that it doesn't really have the Holy Trinity in it. It kind of does and doesn't, in the aspect that it has support classes, which are designed to kind of keep your group up and things along those lines. It also has a really cool RPG or PvP RVR system where you're out there, you know, it basically came out back when DAOC was huge and they wanted to kind of capture the realm versus realm three-way war type stuff. So you get these big sieges and things along those lines. The problem with Guild Wars is, one, it's dated. Two, it's got a big learning curve. Guild Wars 2 has a lot of classes that when played a certain way can make you very hard to kill. So for instance, let's say you take 3 people who've never played Guild Wars and you give them their classes and you let them read their abilities and then you shove them out there to play. And then you take 3 people who've played Guild Wars for 6 months who know their classes and you have them come play. They will stomp the ever-living shit out of the other people. Now, that's going to be that way in most games, but a lot of it has to do with Guild Wars and the aspect, because if you did the same thing in WoW, if the people were skilled MMOers, they could pick up the WoW classes a lot faster than you will in Guild Wars, because Guild Wars brings in dodging elements. It brings using your abilities together in certain ways to kind of play off of each other. There are certain buffs that you give each other. There are certain, if I recall correctly, like if I cast a spell and you cast a spell on top of it, they synergize in certain ways. There's a lot that goes into it. Not that we aren't capable of learning that. It's just, it requires a little bit of a learning period. And the other issue with that is we wouldn't get our expansion until February. So we would be playing it till November, and then we would skip to, I'm sorry, not November, till September. So that'd give us about time to cap our characters out, kind of learn the combat system, do RVR, do the PvE, et cetera, and then we would jump to New World, use New World, and then we jump to Final Fantasy. Now the problem with jumping from doing it that way is then when we get to Final Fantasy in November, not having done the MSQ, now we'd have to do all the MSQ shit, which again, gonna take like 300 hours. Now granted, we'd be at a time of year where a lot of people have more time because it's it's a holiday, so you'd have kids out of school, out of college, things along those lines. So some folks would have more time. I'm about halfway through maybe the MSQ. I'm at, I want to say, level 30 quests, so I've probably got about 80 quests left to do, maybe 100. I could probably do that in a week or two, and then we could catch up. And you know, if you burn it hard every night, you could probably finish the MSQ, I would say, in 2 weeks of regular hardcore casual play. Does that make sense? Like, when I was in high school and college, hardcore to me was, you know, 6 hours a day, because you'd get off of school and then you'd play your MMO for 6 hours a day. And then on weekends, you'd play 12 to 18 hours a day. And that was your life. Now as an adult with responsibilities, a wife and other things, I get to play 2 hours a day, and that's pushing it. So hardcore casual for me is 2 hours a day, and then on weekends maybe 6 hours a day, maybe, you know, not counting Dungeons and Dragons that I have commitments with, and you know, the biking and the working out that I have to do now, and all of the other real life shit, not to mention doctor's visits, going to the store, other responsibilities. So definitely a difference in hours there. So that would mean we'd have to do the MSQ then, and that would kind of be challenging for some folks, but at the same time, you know, we would have till February. So November 28th, December 28th, February 28th, or sorry, January 28th, and then sometime in February, probably more towards the end, and that's assuming it doesn't get delayed again, which with the pandemic isn't surprising. So let's say we have 90 days. 90 days would be enough to get through all of the stuff and get there. The problem might be, it might not be enough to experience all that the expansion has to offer, which is why maybe playing it now would be better. Alternatively, there's other games like Elder Scrolls Online we could take a look at. Albion Online, which I'm not really, that's kind of one of those games like, okay, if y'all really want to, we can take a look at it, but not really. And I think it's about it. I mean, there's a new Lineage 2 server coming out that's supposedly casual oriented, where they've redone all the classes, all the levels, and everything for solo play. Lineage 2 new server. That's not what I'm looking for. Lineage 2 solo server 2021. Here it is. Wow, when the private servers have a better search rank than you do, it's kind of funny. Yeah, so this game's been out for fucking forever. It's not very pretty, but it is hardcore PvP. And it is fun. It is fun, especially with a group. So let's see. Yeah, so it's basically all 36 classes are tuned to be self-sufficient. There will be 6 solo dungeons and a simplified leveling system, making it easier to reach max level. For those of you guys who've never played Lineage, back in the day, when I played, back when me and my brother were hardcore, when I mean hardcore, I mean 96 hours a week, hardcore. Like we were. Let me find a vein here for my MMO. I tapped out at 12. He and my buddy Dave, who some of you may know as Galeric, only if you've been around for a long time, they pounded that shit for like another 2 weeks and made it to 20. So we're talking like 3 weeks of hardcore, 96 hours a week. They got to level 20. That's how hardcore it was. Like getting up to 70, which was the top, I think, 75, took years. I mean, it was insane. So they're redoing it. They're making it, what do you call it? They're making it solo optional, so you'll actually be able to grind solo. And what's funny is it's launching on my birthday on August 11th. So that would be an option, and it'd be more casual. You know, that'd be something we could probably play while playing. Oh, wow, that's cool. They have like a slider. Lineage 2, leveling speed, classic. Oof. That probably needs to be down here. I like how the complexity of combat jacks up. And then you have Aiden, and it's just like, it's fucking, I mean, look at this, like, complexity. Can click, then you pass. I mean, like, oh, that hurts my soul. So I'd be kind of interested to see. Plus, they're going to add these 2 classes, which I got to say, the redheaded pigtail girl with the fucking sniper rifle looks like it might be fun. The Stormblast. Okay, what happened? Why did the redheaded pigtail girl become fucking like neo-Nazi Link? I don't understand. Where can we keep the redheaded pigtail girl? Do we have to do this guy? What the fuck? I'm disappointed. Okay. Available from the new Sulphurase, the Stormblaster is a hybrid DPS support. What? A hybrid DPS support class that sells itself apart from the fast and unpredictable range of melee attacks. Use the shooter range weapon and call on elemental spirits to quickly gain control of the battlefield. What the fuck is a hybrid DPS support class? It's like, yeah, we've got a tank DPS healer class for you here. It's great. I would like to see how they dumb the classes down. So the way Lineage 2 used to work is you had like a bunch of, like you'd pick your starting class and it was basically like fighter, mage, dwarf, and that was it. And then the fighters branched into 2 branches, and then those branches would branch again. And so like you'd have your mage, and that would branch into like support or damage dealer, and then that would branch into like summoner and wizard, and then over here it was like buffer and healer, and then those would branch again. I mean, it got ridiculous. But yeah, it would be the only problem with this game is it's old, but I don't know, this is starting to grow on me, and I hate that. There's a lot of stuff to this back in the day that really appealed to me for some reason, and I don't, like, there's those games that like there's no reason you should want to play it, but for some reason you're just like, I'm interested for some reason. It's got that stink to it that just tweaks you, and Lineage is kind of like that for me for some reason. I don't know. So anyways, Lineage 2 is an option. I'm going to probably end up taking a look at it regardless, just because it's launching on my birthday. It's like a sign from God. But this would be fun with just with just 8 people, which is, if I recall, the full group, especially since it's a solo play server. Can you imagine running around as a group on a solo server, I mean, you just fucking destroy shit. So that's an option. And you know, we can always try multiple things. I'm down for trying multiple things. I think the issue we're going to run into is the smart move is Final Fantasy. Guild Wars 2 is a move. I mean, there's a lot of content in Guild Wars. ESO, that's okay. You know, the lineage is okay. But I think Final Fantasy is probably the smart move, just so we could get the MSQ done and prepare for launch. So, I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. I would love to get some feedback from you guys. I know not everybody here's into MMOs, but if you are into MMOs and you know you've listened to the 30-minute rant that I've just gone on, let me know in the comment section what you think, what you would like to see. Keep in mind, whatever we're playing, I'm gonna be throwing out guides for. You know, whether it's money making guides, crafting guides, leveling guides, tips and tricks on how to, you know, optimize your character, etc., whatever. You're going to get that type of stuff. So if any of these interest you, let me know. The whole point about this, though, is I want to get back to where I was before I got into YouTube, where I'm building, which is kind of funny because that's the whole point of YouTube, is building a community, but they're kind of different. But I want to build TDK back up to where it used to be. I mean, we used to be a big guild of like 50 to 100 people, and I kind of want to get back to that because I miss having that group of gaming people to play with. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've got, you know, our 10 or 15 people that we play with, you know, over the, you know, per year, and probably like 5 or 6 of us that are hardcore, dedicated, best buds. But, you know, it'd just be nice to kind of grow things back out. And I've got some ideas and some plans that, you know, if this fleshes out, that I'd like to do. You know, I'd love to make a place that's open for everybody, so everybody can come and have a home, so to speak. It's just, anyways, before we get into it too much, that's a different topic that we could get into later. But these are some of the thoughts that I've got. I'd love to hear what you guys think. You know, from a content perspective, like, you know, what do you want to watch? And then 2, from a playing perspective, any of these games interesting to you? So, because we're going to have an open guild, and the goal is, you know, by the time we hit New World to have 20 or 30 of us, and then by the time we get back to Final Fantasy or whatever, to be, you know, I'd like to be about 50 members strong by next year. So if any of this sounds interesting to you and you'd like to partake, let me know in the comment section down below. If you got any comments, recommendations, thoughts on any of the games I've discussed today, like those in the comment section down below. Yeah, I kind of want to start a conversation between us, and then I can make another video and we can kind of go from there. Also probably going to be doing I almost streamed this tonight so we can kind of have more of a conversation, but I wasn't sure if you guys would be ready for that. So if you guys would like to see more stuff like this, where we just sit around and talk and kind of go over some of this stuff, I'd like that too. And then plus, if we start playing with these games, we'll be streaming that and making video content as well. So like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Give me some feedback, recommend some games, tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you hate. Tell me to shut up. I don't care. Just tell me something. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.